Jaden Ivey does hear his name called, the next name off the board, headed to the Detroit Pistons, which is where he wanted to end up to pair up with Cade Cunningham, last year's first overall selection. Ivey is a kid that has absolute bounce. He's been compared to Ja Morant. He tied a Purdue single-game record for most three-point field goals without a miss when he made 6 against Butler back in December. Look, this is a kid that can get up and down the court. And Adam, you really like Jaden Ivey and his athleticism, a guy that you have been tracking for years.
Yeah. This is an absolute steal at number 5. I mean, I just want to go back to lottery night when Detroit landed the 5th pick and everybody was saying this is a 4-pick draft. And it seemed like Detroit was, just got the worst break of the lottery. Well, guess what? It really just worked out for them in a big, big way, because I think we're going to look back on this draft and say, how did Jaden Ivey go to number 5? This is the type of electric athlete and creative playmaker that you do not see very often in the NBA. We've heard the Ja Morant comparisons. I yield more towards a Steve Francis type mold because he's a big power guard who can absorb contact and get downhill. Talked about the athletic evolution of a guy who did not have a single dunk in the EYBL 3 seasons ago and now is above the rim like no other guard in college basketball. I think he's got more shooting upside than people will acknowledge, and I absolutely love this pick, and I love what playing next to Cade Cunningham is going to do for Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, this is an A+ for me, because if you get the guy I thought should have been taken 4th with a lower pick, you did the right thing. I'm with you on the Ja Morant stuff. His mom coached Ja Morant. That's a similar thing. They both attack the rim violently and dunk aggressively. That's a similar thing. Hair, kind of similar. But outside of that, they're not really the same type of players. I'm not convinced Jaden Ivey's a point guard. I think he can clearly play it, but he doesn't pass it like Ja passes it or see it like Ja sees it. Coach can talk about this way better than I, but there are guys who just see things as point guards that other guys can't see, and then they can make the passes other guys can't make. Ja Morant is that. I'm not sure Jaden Ivey is that, but boy, he's big, strong, athletic, and there is no ceiling on this guy. Like I said before the draft started, I do think that there were 3 players that should have come off the board before him, but if you tell me in 3 years that's the best guy from this draft, it's not shocking to me. And though this order that we just went through 1 through 5 is wild, it should be noted the first 5 players off the board are the 5 players basically everybody had coming off the board first.
You know who's pumped about this pick, right? Rip Hamilton. He is pumped. Like, Pistons fans are joyous right now. You telling me we got Cade Cunningham last year, and now we got Jaden Ivey this year? I mean, this is a resurgence.
My son just texted me.
He did.
And he works with Cade Cunningham on the marketing side. And Cade Cunningham is so excited about this. So, congratulations. And I think Dwayne Casey is excited about this pick. When you look at this kid, and here's what I'll say about the Ja Morant comparisons. Maybe not exactly 1,000% like Ja, but he's in the same arena because you're talking about athleticism. I think he'll be a little bit more durable than Ja is at this stage of his career. But the explosiveness of getting to the basket, I think he's going to be a much improved shooter. And I agree with Gary. His playmaking ability and his court vision has to improve, because a lot of times when you're like a top assist man, you see plays 3 or 4 seconds before anybody else sees it. He's not there yet. He can get there, but he walks in the door at Detroit a starter from day one.
All right, speaking of assists, let's send it over to Poppy Miller, who has more on Jaden Ivey with the 5th overall pick headed to the Pistons.
Well, Cade Cunningham excited about the pick. It sounds like our guys are as well, but Kyle Boona, NBA insider, is especially excited about this pick. Kyle, you had him as your #1 prospect overall. I mean, what makes you rank him so highly over the guys that we've seen be drafted already tonight?
Yeah, the guys mentioned at the desk here that, I don't think necessarily he projects as a lead guard, but the fit with Detroit, it has me really excited because he's paired next to Cade Cunningham, last year's #1 overall pick, who I think is a true #1 initiator at the NBA level. You add Jaden Ivey to this mix, and suddenly you've got 2 true creators who can really create on offense in different ways. Cade Cunningham is more finesse. He has more to his bag, where he is a little bit more methodical with the way he can create on offense. Jaden Ivey, meanwhile, he's just a lightning rod. This is a guy who can attack downhill. He can really get to the rim and pressure defenses with his first step. This is a guy who really doesn't need a lot of wiggle off the bounce just because he can blow by defenders. I've been really impressed in scouting Jaden Ivey, the development that he's had over the last year. He improved, basically going from a role player as a freshman at Purdue to the #1 option on a top 10 Purdue team. 10 percentage points from the three-point line. This is a guy who, dating back to his high school years, was kind of known for his shooting. I don't think that will be a hindrance for him at the NBA level. Now, I think if you want to take him with a top 3 pick, you would have had to been sold that he can be a true #1 initiator at the NBA level. Not sure he will be that, but I think this is a perfect situation for him in Detroit. Pairing him next to Killian Hayes, pairing him next to Cade Cunningham, this is a bright young future, I think, for the Pistons franchise.
So a perfect match there for the Pistons. Back to you, Hakeem, with more on the pick.
Poppy, thank you very much.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.